I can't get back the way I used to be. But I kept on looking for a sign in the middle of the night. But I couldn't see the light. No, I couldn't see the light. What? I kept on looking for a way to take me through the night. Couldn't get it right. Couldn't get it right. New York City took me with the tide. I nearly died from hospitality. Left me stranded, took away my pride. Just another no with comfortality. Kept on looking for a sign in the middle of the night, but I couldn't see the light. No, I couldn't see the light. Kept on looking for a way to take me through the night. Couldn't get it right. Couldn't get it right. Looking for a sign in the middle of the night, but I couldn't see the light. I couldn't see the light. Kept on looking for a way to take me through the night. Couldn't get it right. Couldn't get it right. Kept on looking for a sign in the middle of the night. Couldn't see the light. Couldn't see the light.
It's time for a little fun, a few laughs, and a whole lot of truth.
Ted Nugent speaking fluent Democrat.
All right.
Basically translated, that means I will do whatever you say, or if you shove lies up my ass, I will parrot them mindlessly for you.
The John James Show is on Legacy 1160, WSKW.
Hey, welcome to the show. Welcome to Freedom's Pep Rally right here on Legacy 1160 WSKW, streaming worldwide on all kinds of platforms. Are doing YouTube, legacy1160.com. You can listen on AM radio. You can listen on audio at legacy1160.com. Brought to you by Harry J. Smith Company on Sanger Avenue in Waterville. And, of course, we're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. And welcome to a new platform we're on this morning. We're on with Right America Media. I've been working with them somewhat. Well, The Savvy Truth is there. Doc Green is there. They have other great shows there. And we are on their platform this morning on their Facebook page. And we're also at American Women Who Bear Arms at Legacy 1160. On my personal page, J-O-N-J, John without an H, James. And at legacy1160.com. I think I mentioned that in YouTube. I think I mentioned that. Oh, YouTube, by the way, is also American Women Who Bear Arms. We are streaming on that page right now. So, it's amazing. Things are going surprisingly well here on the streaming platforms for the last couple of days, he said, knocking on wood. So we'll hope that continues. Now, a couple of personal things, at least one personal thing I want to get out of the way here this morning. What happened? Where'd my Facebook go? Oh, there it is. I was having trouble signing in. Good morning, Gomez. Welcome. Cameron, Eleni, Marie. Great to see you, Marie. Good morning to you. They're in, I don't remember what state you're, Florida? No, I don't know. Eleni's in Florida. We've got some listeners in Florida. I had Paul in Miami this morning. And you, wherever you're listening from, Sam and Joan and Skowhegan, welcome to the show. And I'm not going to do like Romper Room here, like Magic Mirror or anything like that. I just want to say hi to a few people. My daughter's birthday is today. I posted a picture on my page. I posted a picture of her and me. She was just a little girl eating her SpaghettiOs. Remember those? My kids used to love spaghetti. Blech. Remember the jingle? SpaghettiOs and meatballs. What is it? Neat little meatballs you can eat with a spoon. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. Do they make SpaghettiOs anymore? I never liked them. I never liked the cheesy. I love cheese. I love spaghetti. I love sauce. I just don't like the SpaghettiOs. Ugh. I mean, give me Chef Boyardee spaghetti and meatballs any day. So anyway, this is my daughter's birthday. I'm going off on SpaghettiOs. But we were eating SpaghettiOs there in our old mobile home where we lived in Randolph. Gosh, I've got to tell you, I miss that place. I really miss that place. I don't know why, because we have more property. I mean, we've got 5 acres now. We've got a house. We don't have neighbors. Here we were not real close. I mean, it was a park in Randolph. If you're familiar with Fairview Estates, really a beautiful park, a really nice place. Dave Varney bought it and built it and is expanding it now, I guess. But I miss that place. I wrote her a little poem here and I posted the picture. Here's the poem. Get a hanky, you're going to need it. I wish we had some nice special music to play, but I didn't prepare very well. Could we do that? Oh, okay. All right. Wait a minute. We've got Climax Blues Band up here because we couldn't get it right. So this is a perfect song for a poem. This is a perfect. Actually, you know what? I've got a Poetry Man open. Can we do that? Let's do the Poetry Man. Hold on with me. Bear with me for a second. We got to have a little fun, right? And this is my daughter's birthday. Cut me some slack here already. All right. It's the Poetry Man open. And is that going to work? It better. PMO. Right? Yeah. Okay, and the Poetry Man close is PMC. I'm sorry we've got to do this right here on the air, but you understand there's really no other way at this point in time. I just thought of this. So just indulge me for a moment. You're going to love this. You're going to cry. This is my daughter's 30th birthday today. This is a pretty big deal. Okay, I think we're good now. All right, let's roll it.
You're the Poetry Man.
Like dust in the wind, the years have flown. It seems like yesterday, but time's gone by and you have grown, and how you found your way. You've made us proud in all you do, daughter, parent, nurse, a family of your own now. But it's we who loved you first. Love, Mom and Dad.
You're the Poetry Man. You make things all right.
Isn't that nice? Tell me you didn't have a tear in your... Go ahead, tell me. If you didn't have a tear in your eye from that, you will when I tell you this. 2 nights in our garage, I have caught 5 mice. I set 2 snap traps out Sunday. My wife says, you got 2 victims. I come home, there are two mice in the traps. So it seems cruel, but it's really less cruel than decon or poison because they die very quickly this way. And they're eating the insulation and they're getting in the motors and it's not good. So I took them by the tail, and this is the best way you wing them. That's what we say. You wing them into the woods. Get them right out of there. And then I reset the traps. I had another one. She said, you ought to set 3. You'll catch 3. So I set an extra one last night. And she says, you got 3 mice. What? I said, excuse me? I really got 3 more, 5 mice in 2 nights. So I reset them this morning. I winged them all into the woods, all 5 of them. And so there's where they are. And they are no longer viable mice. They are fodder now, foodstuffs for the other critters. So we'll see what happens now. This is getting to be sort of fulfilling, and you know what I use for bait? You probably do, right? Peanut butter. Not just any peanut butter, Skippy chunky peanut butter on the mouse traps. They love it. They love the Skippy Super Chunk. So there you go. By the way, you're welcome. You're welcome. Boy, we have a lot to talk about today. Woo. Looks like the transition team is starting to move. And Donald Trump said he's doing it for the good of America. And I believe him. I'm sure people have talked to him and said, you know, you really ought to at least make it look like you're trying to do something. I'm sure he said, yeah, okay, all right. And so the transition team, they got like a ton of money to transition. Transitioning, they've got to transition, right? So good. That's all. That will quiet Joe and Kamala down for a little while the investigation into voter fraud continues. Now, Rush Limbaugh said yesterday, conservative radio host Rush Limbaugh said Donald Trump's legal team better act quickly. I've been saying this. I mean, the clock is running here. He says Trump's legal team has to act quickly to produce evidence of the explosive claims they're making. They promised to prove Trump had actually won in a landslide. Now, why would they even say this if there wasn't truth to it? Biden doesn't seem to be too nervous. Kamala doesn't seem, well, Kamala just, right for now, she's just riding Joe's coattails until they get into office. Then she'll be jonesing for the presidency. You can bet on that. But if I were them, I'd be worried. Again, I'm losing faith in the process, but I've still got a lot of hope. And I can't help it. I just can't help it. I mean, things don't seem quite, they don't seem quite as confident as they did. They have themselves seemed to lose some of the confidence they had, but it may be a ruse. I hope it is. But there was a lot more at play during this election than simply the mail-in ballots and the Dominion voting machines. A lot more at play, sadly. And we learned more about that last night. I don't know if you happened to catch Tucker Carlson last night, but this was very telling and very scary. Should Donald Trump have won the election? You're damn right he should have. He against all, even if it came out the way they're saying now it came out. Donald Trump with 73 million votes. Against all odds. The guy's been on defense for 4 years against the mob. Nothing good has come out of Congress in 4 years, not because of Donald Trump, because they had to get him out of office, because he's not one of us. So let's fill you in on a little bit of what tech has been doing. And they did this, by the way, during the 2016 election, too. Based on what big tech did during the 2016 election, it's surprising Hillary Clinton didn't win. That's how bad a candidate she is. Even with big tech's help, she couldn't win in 2016. That's because she's a horrible candidate and a horrible human being. No argument there, right? Maybe a few, but they'll be gone soon. So the deck was stacked way beyond your wildest imagination against Donald Trump. Way beyond what any of us would have ever thought possible. Fact. Here are some facts, okay? Let's start out with facts. Just the facts, ma'am. Fact. Mail-in votes were backdated and not checked with a majority going to Biden. Fact. There were efforts discovered in cities like Minneapolis, Houston, and other places to buy votes. Ilhan Omar's district in Minneapolis, and Ilhan Omar herself, is one who is currently under investigation. Fact. Big tech alone had enough power to throw the election to Biden, and perhaps it did. Last night, Dr. Robert Epstein, a Democrat who voted for Hillary and, by the way, hates Donald Trump, revealed how big tech could have cost Donald Trump at a minimum, 8 million votes, which in and of itself is enough to turn the election. At a minimum. He was on with Tucker Carlson last night on Fox News. Robert Epstein is a senior research psychologist at the American Institute for Behavioral Research and Technology in California, and he studies big tech's ability to sway public opinion. So, what has Dr. Epstein measured so far?
Well, a couple of things that we've looked at so far. First of all, we had 733 field agents in 3 key swing states this year, Arizona, North Carolina, and Florida. And we preserved more than 500,000 ephemeral experiences. That's a lot. That's about 30 times more data than we got in 2016. And we're finding a couple of things that are pretty clear. Number one is that Google's search results were strongly biased in favor of liberals and Democrats. This was not true on Bing or Yahoo. The bias was being shown to pretty much every demographic group we looked at, including conservatives. So in fact, conservatives got slightly more liberal bias in their search results than liberals did. How do you account for that? And then we also found what seems to be a smoking gun. That is, we found a period of days when the vote reminder on Google's homepage was being sent only to liberals. Not one of our conservative field agents received a vote reminder during those days. The good news is, on that 4th day that we were monitoring, we went public with some of our findings, and Google backed off. They literally shut off that manipulation that night. And so for 4 days before the election, they were showing vote reminders to everyone, finally.
So in other words, until Google got caught manipulating the public, they were all too happy to let it go, let it continue. There's a reason those monstrosities want Biden in the White House. There is a reason, make no mistake about it. Their followers don't see it. The leftists, the progressive, don't see it. They are too far gone. They are gonzo, baby. They're out of here. They are drinking the Kool-Aid. Their brain, their gray matter is surrounded not by cerebral fluid, but by Kool-Aid. It's poison Kool-Aid surrounding their brain and gnawing its way into their brain cells. And it's got them convinced that this is the only way to go. Joe Biden is the savior of the world. Joe, I can't remember where I am, who my wife and sister are. I can't remember what I'm running for. Biden, he is the savior of America. He and John Kerry and the deplorable Kamala Harris, who never prosecuted one priest when she was the district attorney in San Francisco because their lawyers gave her money. These are the people who are going to save America. God bless America. God help America. And Google and big tech are right in there helping. And they alone have the power and may have thrown the election. And how do you prosecute that? Why didn't anybody catch that? Why is this coming out after the fact? We knew back in 2016 they had done this. They had done this with Hillary Clinton. They had manipulated searches to help Hillary Clinton, and it could have cost millions of votes. That's why Hillary won the popular vote. Do you understand that? Even though she says, well, I still won. I actually won. She just go have another drink, Hillary. Get over yourself. Get out of our hair. Do you understand this? If you don't, then you're on the wrong show. You really need to have a CAT scan or something like that to see if that Kool-Aid is taking up more of your skull space and squishing your brain. So, how much did big tech actually affect the election this year? Tucker asked Robert Epstein. Interesting.
Well, there are multiple manipulations here. We were also monitoring YouTube this time and Facebook and Bing and Yahoo. The bottom line at the moment is that these manipulations, the ones that we've so far quantified, could easily have shifted at least 6 million votes in just one direction. That's the bare minimum at this point that I'm confident of. The maximum, we haven't even begun to estimate that yet because we have so much data to look at.
Wow, at least 6 million, and they lot more data to look at. So we knew this. We suspected this would happen. Somebody suspected this would happen. I think the red herring may have been the mail-in votes, which really wasn't so much of a red herring. It was an inherent danger to our election process. We knew it. The Democrats and mainstream media naturally denied it. That's how you know it's a real issue. When the left-wing media, MSNBC, CNN, and all the people on the left, when they deny there's any chance of voter fraud, that's when you know there's a chance of voter fraud. But it was a red herring in such a way that nobody even was thinking about what Google, what Facebook, what Twitter was doing. Really, I mean, there were talks. I mean, they had the meeting, the Judicial Committee meeting last week. But they were talking more about censorship than anything else. They weren't talking about manipulating votes, which clearly is what Google and the others have been doing. And Facebook and Twitter, I mean, they're all in this together. They are all in it for the left. All of them. There is no help. There is no help at all. And to make matters worse, now that Joe Biden, if Joe Biden gets in there, if, God forbid, he and Kamala take over, what are they going to try to do? Many things. They're going to undo everything Donald Trump has done that has helped Americans make money, save money, earn more money, get employment. They're going to reverse everything just because Trump did it. Not because what they're going to do is going to help. It's not. It's going to make things worse. You're going to have less money in your pocket. Gas is going to be more expensive. And you aren't going to be able to, who knows if you're going to be able to drive a gas-powered car every day. With COVID-19, they've been able to arbitrarily say, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do that. And we've complied. Well, President Biden has decided that we're going to have a fossil fuel holiday. That means no cars allowed on the road tomorrow or this weekend. All gas cars, unless you're going to or from work, are. I can see it happening. I can see that. Because I have foresight. Now that we've experienced what the government has the power to control with COVID-19, with a big scare that I believe was sent to us by China and allowed by the Democratic Party. I believe that with all my heart, just for the reason of mail-in voting and voter fraud and all that. I believe that. Conspiracy theorist, call me a conspiracy theorist if you want. I put nothing past them, even killing Americans. That's how evil and corrupt the left is. Trust me on that. So after all we've seen with COVID-19 and, you can't go to bars in Maine still aren't open. Bars in Maine can't open. It's till further notice. This is 2 or 3 times now. Janet Mills has set a deadline, and all these breweries and bars have gotten all their inventory. You know, beer, which is perishable. They get their kegs in, and the day before she says, we're going to postpone it indefinitely. Czar Mills. Because COVID. Because you're too stupid to think for yourself. You're too stupid to know to stay away from people who could have the COVID. You're too stupid to know when to social distance and too stupid to wear a mask. And people are saying, okay, Janet, you're right. And these are the dangerous people these are the Kool-Aid drinkers. These are the people who need to be reprogrammed, not the Trump supporters, as one Democratic idiot had said in a tweet that we all need to be reprogrammed after Trump leaves office. No, people like you need to be reprogrammed or sent to China. Send them to China. Go to communist China. You won't have to be reprogrammed. You're already used to letting the government run your life. You already embrace authority running your life. Just go to China. You won't have to change a bit. Otherwise, it's you that needs to be reprogrammed. Not us. Got to take a break. 9:39. We'll be right back. I'm John James.
1160 WSKW.
What a fantastic time to shop for fall items at Town Line Antiques, where you'll find 2 floors, 50 dealers, and thousands of items from throughout history. Town Line Antiques has vintage signs, furniture, classic electronics, sports memorabilia, jewelry, coins, home decor, and so much more. And if you haven't been recently, there are new booths and a lot of new items, including a full booth of Christmas goodies for anyone who wants to spread some early cheer. Town Line Antiques open Tuesday through Sunday from 10 to 5 on Route 201, right on the Winslow-Vassaboro Town Line.
Hi, it's Joey Joseph from Colebrook Mitsubishi in Skowhegan. How about a new Mitsubishi today and 0% APR financing? That's right, 0% APR financing. No financing charges for the life of your loan on your new 2020 Mitsubishi Outlander, Eclipse Cross, Outlander Sport, and Mirage models. Come in and see how we can defer your payments for up to 90 days. Get a new Mitsubishi for the holidays and have no payments until February of next year. Plus, take advantage of our $4,000 minimum trade offer. Yep, $4,000, even if it doesn't run, tow it in and you get $4,000. I'd like to thank every one of our customers who have helped make Colebrook the #1 selling Mitsubishi dealer in all of New England for 2020. Worried about credit? Even if you've had some credit mishaps, come find out how we can help. Everyone deserves a newer, nicer ride. Why not choose a small-town dealer with nice and friendly people to do business with? Small-town dealer with big-time discounts. Colebrook Mitsubishi, Route 201 in Skowhegan, or online at colebrookmitsubishi.com.
Kennebec Eye Care is pleased to let you know that they have reopened for routine eye care with temporary office hours Monday through Thursday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and Fridays from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. To schedule an appointment, call 872-2797. Kennebec Eye Care will continue to follow all CDC guidelines to make sure everyone stays safe and healthy. Contact lens can still be ordered over the phone and mailed to you, or you can set up a time for curbside pickup of contact lens or glasses. Kennebec Eye Care, your sight specialists at 216 Main Street in Waterville, would like to say thank you to everyone for supporting local businesses.
I'm CBS 13 meteorologist Lexi O'Connor. Mostly sunny but cold and windy this morning with snow showers in the mountains. Highs will be in the mid to upper 30s today, but feeling colder with a stiff northwesterly wind. Cloudy tomorrow with some light rain and some snow showers developing during the morning and into the afternoon. Some freezing rain possible Thursday morning, then cloudy with rain showers, highs in the 40s Thanksgiving.
Your pep rally for freedom is back. Powered by the Gun Shop in Augusta on Coney Circle. Now, here's John James.
Hey, happy Thanksgiving, by the way. Mike and I are we're going to be taking off Thanksgiving and Friday, Black Friday. What's that? My question is, what is Black Friday going to be like this year? Because in the last several years, I've been going out with our sister station, 107.9 The Mix, we've been giving away money. I mean, literally giving away thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to people in checkout lines. Not this year. Because apparently I've heard the stores aren't going to open until Friday morning. At least here in Maine. I don't know what the deal is on that. But Yeah, it's coming right up, isn't it? Black Friday usually starts Thanksgiving nights when we go out, and we're out all night. I won't mind sleeping in on Friday morning, I'll tell you that, though. President Trump's pardoning the national Thanksgiving turkey today. It's a tradition. And in keeping with that tradition, before granting the pardon, he'll insult the bird and give it a degrading nickname. They call it Joe. I think he ought to name it Joe before he pardons it. Joe Biden the turkey. PETA, speaking of turkeys, PETA says people for the eating tasty animals, people for the ethical treatment of animals. They say today's turkeys are so fat they can't stand up, and they're prone to heart attacks. How about that? That's how, because, and PETA doesn't like that. We're fattening the turkeys up, and we're getting them so they have probably high cholesterol, and they have such large breasts, they're dying of heart attacks. Not to be insensitive or anything like that, but having a heart attack seems better than getting your head chopped off. To me, if I had to choose a way to go, I think I'd go with the heart attack. I don't know what happens. I would imagine. No, I'm not. It's very funny, but it's kind of gross and morbid. I'm not going to go there. But I think about these things because I'm weird. Do you get dizzy as your head clops down into the bucket? Are you still alert enough to see? I don't know. I wonder about these things. I can't help it. Leave me alone. Let's see. What else do we have? Any more about turkeys here? I want to get some Thanksgiving stuff on. Here's some Thanksgiving history. We have Thanksgiving. We didn't do today. Did we do today in history? We didn't, did we? We've got to do that. We'll do today in history. Thanksgiving began in 1621, following the arrival of the Pilgrims. Soon after that, the Indians realized that their immigration system was broken, and they're still working on fixing that. More Thanksgiving history in 1621, when the white man promised the red man, I like your land. If you like your land, you can keep your land. Nothing? I got nothing on that? Oh, thanks. That was a joke. It was a joke. Here's a good one. Butterball says there are fewer large turkeys this Thanksgiving because this year's crop had trouble gaining weight. But we keep getting fatter. In fact, now the turkeys are calling us butterballs. No, wait, I got 1 million of them here. Hold on. Here's some trivia for you. The modern Thanksgiving tradition traces its origins to 1621 when the Pilgrims feasted with the Indians. Historians say the Pilgrims drank so much. They drank so much on that first Thanksgiving. No, I'm not going to do that. No. They drank so much, they had to unbuckle their hats. See, I told you that. These are stupid. Give me some Thanksgiving stuff that's funny. All right, let's move on here. Thank you, though. Thanks for trying. It's 9:46 on Legacy 1160 WSKW. That right there is what we call levity. That's a little levity for your Thanksgiving celebration. Now let's get into some much more serious stuff here, just because we have to. Rudy Giuliani has finally come out and spoken on this whole Sidney Powell deal that took place over the weekend, where Sidney Powell went on Newsmax, basically said she has all this evidence about how the Dominion voting machines and Smartmatic software was complicit, along with some malware, I would guess, a malware or some mal-programming in throwing the election to Biden. She says she has proof. Now, we've yet to see that. This is where I still have hope. But the Trump legal team, Rudy Giuliani, Jenna Ellis, Donald Trump himself, distanced themselves from Sidney Powell. That was some of the big news over the weekend. The question we want to know the answer to has now been addressed. And the answer to it came from the horse's mouth. Rudy Giuliani. He was on Fox Business yesterday with Lou Dobbs, and Dobbs asked Giuliani about that, distancing themselves from Sidney Powell.
Well, I think it's because we're pursuing two different theories. Our theory of the case to get to the Supreme Court, now in 4 places, and it's soon going to be in 2 others, and there'll be an overall lawsuit, is basically misconduct of the election by state officials in at least 5 or 6 different states, in which the misconduct of the election involved deprivation of constitutional rights for the president. For example, in one part of the state, you could fix a ballot, Democrat part. Other part of the state, you couldn't fix a ballot. One part of the state, the ballots were examined. Another part of the state, they didn't care if the ballots were examined. In Pennsylvania, there are 680,000 unexamined ballots that virtually were put in secretly by Democrats alone. That's outrageous. That is misconduct of the election. Elections are supposed to be conducted under the auspices of the laws passed by the legislature. And in fact, they made a mockery of it in Pennsylvania. The only place maybe worse is Michigan, and particularly the city of Detroit. The city of Detroit probably had more voters than it had citizens. I'm exaggerating a bit, but all you have to do is look at statistical data, and you can see that the fraud was rampant and out of control. What happened this time, Lou, they had these mail ballots, which I think was always part of the plan. They always cheated somewhat with absentee ballots. But for example, they only had 450,000 absentee ballots 4 years ago in Pennsylvania. This time they had 2.6 million. That's like letting a couple of thieves free all night in Tiffany. And these expert voter fraud people, which you've got to say that Pittsburgh and Pennsylvania and Philadelphia and Detroit have a great expertise in voter fraud. It isn't the first election they've stolen, but this time they had massive ballots to do it with, and we have evidence. The evidence has been presented, and the media lies that we have no evidence. They're just too lazy to read our 100 affidavits, which are on the public record from American citizens.
Well, you and I,
votes were stolen from
you
them.
and I think we should not in any way besmirch the national left-wing media by calling them lazy. I think you and I both know that they are politically corrupt. And aligned through their corporate ownership with the establishment that means to carry out its will, even in an election in which 74 million people cast votes, apparently not knowing what the polls had told them going into it. Suppression polls, as it turns out, and as the president points out. So here we are, 3 weeks tomorrow from the election. We're moving toward those dates of the 8th of December and the 14th of December. How much flexibility do you have, and how urgent are those deadlines that approach?
Oh, the deadlines are urgent, no question about it. There isn't a lot of time, but there's time, and the fact is that the facts are there. We just need to get them before a trier of fact or before a court that'll be fair, and we'll listen to them. I mean, the court in Pennsylvania cut it off without listening to a single fact, and I don't know how the judge could have concluded that the facts aren't substantial when they haven't even been presented yet. They're really kind of, and on a motion to dismiss, you're not supposed to consider that. So, you're unfortunately, we haven't yet gotten a fair decision. We will. We got to be a little patient. One fair decision, one good hearing, and this will turn all around.
Interesting. Now, Giuliani still sounds confident, not as confident as he did at the beginning, but the clock's running. He realizes this. He understands this. Also, like I said yesterday, I still have the same amount of hope, maybe more than I had before. As we get closer to the deadline, my hope becomes greater and greater, I guess. My faith, not so much. And I think there are a lot of people in the same boat. You know, your faith, and especially you've seen the system not work and be very political so many times. A lot of times you have to hope it falls into the right hands. If it gets to the Supreme Court and there's a good case here, I think we may be in good shape. Let's see what happens. We've got more to get to. Stick around. Got to take a break. Be right back. I'm John James.
WSKW, Legacy 1160.
Hi, my name is Tony Esposito from Rockland Ford. This year has been crazy, and this month, so are our deals. Ford has finally started making cars again, so our lot is full and the incentives are high. This month only, you can buy a brand new redesigned Ford Escape for as low as $22,415 or $359 a month with no money down. I repeat, you can buy a brand new Ford Escape at Rockland Ford for as low as $359 a month with no money down. And if a truck is what you need, we got you covered. Rockland Ford just made a special purchase of 35 low-mileage program F-150s, as low as $23,995 or only $359 a month with no money down. This month only, buy a brand new Escape or program F-150 for $359 a month with no money down. Call us while supplies last at Rockland Ford, home of the Rock Bottom Deal, Route 1 in Thomaston.
Payments are for qualified credit for 84 months at 4.5% APR.
Hi there, welcome back. Legacy 1160 WSKW Freedom's Pep Rally. I'm John James. And we'll have a break coming up at the top of the hour, news, and then we'll be back. I'd like to welcome folks in from Right America Media. We are streaming live there this morning, home of Doc Green, and right side of the mic, home of The Savvy Truth with Savannah Lynn. That show, by the way, is on tonight at 7 o'clock, right at Right America Media. You want to check Savannah out. She's just an amazing 16-year-old who knows the Constitution, knows America, knows what's going on politically than most adults do. Certainly, she has her finger on the pulse a lot more than anybody on the left does. She's got to be heard to be believed. I mean, we've had her on the show before, and we'll continue to sometime soon, hopefully. It's 9:55 right now on Legacy 1160, and because we missed it earlier, and I do not want you to miss what happened on this day in history. Let's go ahead and do it. Let's see what happened. This is the only history lesson many kids will get today if they attend public schools. So, Maybe if they're at home, you want to have them listen to this. This is the Associated Press, and they do good things when they aren't busy calling elections. Here is a look at what happened on November 24th, besides my daughter being born.
November 24th, 1963. In Dallas, a scene caught on live TV that shocks America just days after the assassination of President John F. Kennedy.
There is Lee Oswald. He's been shot. He's been shot. Lee Oswald has been shot. There's the man with a gun. No question about it. Oswald has been shot.
Nightclub owner Jack Ruby shoots and fatally wounds Lee Harvey Oswald, Kennedy's accused assassin, in the Dallas County Jail. 1859. British naturalist Charles Darwin publishes On the Origin of Species, explaining his theory of evolution. 1971. The hijacker known as D.B. Cooper parachutes from a Northwest Airlines 727 over Washington State with $200,000 in ransom money. His fate remains unknown to this day. And 1991. In London, rock singer Freddie Mercury, frontman of the group Queen, dies of AIDS-related pneumonia. He was 45. Today in history, November 24th. Tim McGuire, The Associated Press.
Hi, I'm here. Hold on. Just trying to set things up so I don't have to worry if we're going to miss any breaks. Because I am a one-man show and I can do it. I tell myself, do I really believe that? Well, of course not. But it makes me feel confident, so just let it be. All right, I'm just moving things. Okay, we've got 9:58. Back with more after the top of the hour. We've got a lot more on this Sidney Powell, the elections, and I've got great news about a new representative who is going to be butting some heads with AOC and the squad. I love this. All coming up right here. Don't go anywhere. I'm John James.
Legacy 1160, WSKW.
What a fantastic time to shop for fall items at Town Line Antiques, where you'll find 2 floors, 50 dealers, and thousands of items from throughout history. Town Line Antiques has vintage signs, furniture, classic electronics, sports memorabilia, jewelry, coins, home decor, and so much more. And if you haven't been recently, there are new booths and a lot of new items, including a full booth of Christmas goodies for anyone who wants to spread some early cheer. Town Line Antiques open Tuesday through Sunday from 10 to 5 on Route 201, right on the Winslow-Vassaboro Town Line.
Kennebec Eye Care is pleased to let you know that they have reopened for routine eye care with temporary office hours Monday through Thursday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and Fridays from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. To schedule an appointment, call 872-2797. Kennebec Eye Care will continue to follow all CDC guidelines to make sure everyone stays safe and healthy. Contact lens can still be ordered over the phone and mailed to you, or you can set up a time for curbside pickup of contact lens or glasses. Kennebec Eye Care, your sight specialists at 216 Main Street in Waterville, would like to say thank you to everyone for supporting local businesses.
Hi, I'm CJ McKenna, Assistant Dean of Enrollment at Kennebec Valley Community College. Have you been thinking about attending KVCC and need a little nudge? In my position at the college, I have the opportunity to help students begin, continue, or complete a degree. These students are just like you, many balancing multiple responsibilities in addition to their classes. Whether you want to enroll full-time, part-time, or have a conversation about your options, I am here to help. Call me at 453-KVCC, and we can work together to accomplish your educational goals.
Hi, it's Joey Joseph from Colebrook Mitsubishi in Skowhegan. How about a new Mitsubishi today and 0% APR financing? That's right, 0% APR financing. No financing charges for the life of your loan on your new 2020 Mitsubishi Outlander, Eclipse Cross, Outlander Sport, and Mirage models. Come in and see how we can defer your payments for up to 90 days. Get a new Mitsubishi for the holidays and have no payments until February of next year. Plus, take advantage of our $4,000 minimum trade offer. Yep, $4,000, even if it doesn't run, tow it in and you get $4,000. I'd like to thank every one of our customers who have helped make Colebrook the #1 selling Mitsubishi dealer in all of New England for 2020. Worried about credit? Even if you've had some credit mishaps, come find out how we can help. Everyone deserves a newer, nicer ride. Why not choose a small town dealer with nice and friendly people to do business with? Small town dealer with big time discounts. Colebrook Mitsubishi, Route 201 in Skowhegan, or online at colebrookmitsubishi.com.
Hi, I'm Jeff from K-Tronics. K-Tronics is proud to be the local entertainment expert of Somerset, Franklin, and Piscataquis counties for 23 years and counting. Come visit us today for a hands-on demonstration of the Hopper whole home DVR from Dish and learn all the tips and tricks to make entertainment easy. When you shop with K-Tronics, not only will you get best-in-class customer service, you'll also be supporting your local community. Call 207-696-3200 or visit us today at 57 Main Street in Madison.
Sales and service by a family who cares. Whittemore and Sons, Whittemore and Sons.
There are some things you can simply never depend on, like buying grapes at the grocery store. Will this bag be sweet? Will it be sour? Who knows? They look the same. But know that you can always count on Whittemore & Sons in our line of Coyote tractors. Coyote tractors are machines made to work, whether it's mowing, tilling, digging, lifting, or hauling. Check out the full line of tough and versatile Coyote tractors, attachments, implements, and accessories at Whittemore & Sons, your Coyote tractor dealer, with dependable sales in service for over 50 years. Run ahead of the pack with a Coyote tractor from Whittemore & Sons on the Waterville Road in Skowhegan. Sales and service by a family who cares.
From work to fun. We'll help you get it done. Whittemore and Sons. Outdoor power equipment.
Hi, my name is Tony Esposito from Rockland Ford. This year has been crazy, and this month, so are our deals. Ford has finally started making cars again, so our lot is full and the incentives are high. This month only, you can buy a brand new redesigned Ford Escape for as low as $22,415 or $359 a month with no money down. I repeat, you can buy a brand new Ford Escape at Rockland Ford for as low as $359 a month with no money down. And if a truck is what you need, we got you covered. Rockland Ford just made a special purchase of 35 low-mileage program F-150s, as low as $23,995 or only $359 a month with no money down. This month only, buy a brand new Escape or program F-150 for $359 a month with no money down. Call us while supplies last at Rockland Ford, home of the Rock Bottom Deal, Route 1 in Thomaston.
Payments are for qualified credit for 84 months at 4.5% APR.
From the Home Auto Group Studios, Farmington Ford and Franklin Chrysler in Farmington. This is WSKW, Skowhegan, Augusta, Waterville, Legacy 1160.
ABC News, I'm Elizabeth Scholze. Because the number of coronavirus cases just keeps going up, more COVID restrictions are being put in place across the country. ABC's Victor Oquendo is in Miami.
Since the beginning of this month, there have been more than 3 million confirmed cases and more than 25,000 people have died. That's about one American death every minute. New York, once the epicenter of the pandemic, now seeing a surge in cases so great, the governor is opening another field hospital.
These are dangerous times that we're in.
And a dire situation in Pennsylvania where officials say they may run out of ICU beds by next week.
The federal government has now acknowledged that Joe Biden was the apparent winner of the November 3rd election and will now allow money to begin flowing into the Biden transition. President Trump tweeting that it's in the best interest of the country as a whole, but still refusing to admit he lost. The president presenting no evidence of widespread voter fraud, and his campaign has lost dozens of cases in court. This is ABC News. The only African American to ever serve as mayor of New York City has passed away. ABC's Lionel Moise looks back on the life of David Dinkins.
In the last decade, we saw the ethics and dreams of Martin Luther King and John F. Kennedy traded in for selfishness and callousness.
Dinkins addressing the National Press Club in 1990 after defeating Rudy Giuliani the year prior, predicting a new wave of progressive ideas. In a New York Times interview in 1993, he said he wanted to be remembered as someone who brought the community together and inspired others, especially children and minority communities. Mayor David Dinkins was 93 years old. Lionel Moise, ABC News.
And a mystery at Cambridge University. Curators at the university library now say 2 notebooks full of writings by Charles Darwin have been missing for 20 years, and now they think the books were stolen. One of them contains Darwin's famous Tree of Life sketch. The 2 books are said to be worth millions of dollars. Elizabeth Scholze, ABC News.
Introducing Canada Dry Bold Ginger. It's not your grandma's ginger ale. I know because I'm not your grandma. I don't pressure you to get married. I say play the field all you want. And I drink new Canada Dry Bold Ginger with an extra kick of real ginger taste that would blow the bingo cards out your grandma's bag. I drink it while watching backyard wrestling. There's more on the line when the wrestlers don't have insurance. New Canada Dry Bold Ginger, not your grandma's ginger ale.
Right now, the Home Depot is home of smart home gifts for smart home gift givers, like the Google Nest Video Doorbell, the Google Nest Hub, or Google Nest Mini in both charcoal and chalk. Plus, right now, get free 2-day shipping on any smart home gift purchases over $45. The top names in smart home at the best name in home improvement. That's smart gift giving. Improved. The Home Depot. How doers get more done. U.S. only. See store for details.
And now, live from the Legacy 1160 WSKW studios in Maine's capital, here's the man that commands attention, not because he's important or smart, but because he believes in the Second Amendment and packs 24/7. Here's the always well-armed John James.
Howdy. 10:07, Legacy 1160 WSKW. Back to it. Mayor Cuomo. You hear him during the news? This guy took the time, apparently, took time out of his busy schedule to, in addition to winning an Emmy Award, which we'll get to. I mean, what do these awards mean anymore? When Governor Cuomo wins an Emmy Award, Barack Obama wins a Nobel Peace Prize, for what? After 8 years. After 8 years, we don't know what the Nobel Peace Prize was for. And he won this back before he even had a chance to do anything. Donald Trump was nominated. He is continuing, his administration continues to broker peace in the Middle East, and he's overlooked. The awards are all political. And Mayor Cuomo, or Governor Cuomo, has taken time to write a book about how he handled the coronavirus and how to handle coronavirus and get through such difficult times with ease. The man who killed more than 10,000 elderly people single-handedly by putting COVID-positive patients in with healthy ones. This is an upside-down world we're living in. Topsy-turvy, backwards, upside down. Everything you thought was true, you're being told by the mainstream media and by the establishment that it's not. Nothing you have grown to know as righteous is righteous anymore. Just the opposite. Killing people is now righteous. Not brokering peace is now righteous and award-winning. Unbelievable. We'll get to this later, this Governor Cuomo fiasco. So, back to Rudy Giuliani and Sidney Powell. Some of the big news over the weekend with Rudy Giuliani and Jenna Ellis, part of the Trump legal team, was made clear yesterday by Rudy Giuliani. They're just going in different directions. It's not that he thinks he's right and she's wrong. It's that they're looking at different things. I hope, this is where the hope comes in. I hope, first of all, this goes very quickly. It's got to. And I hope that there is enough evidence to overturn the election. And you will not hear that hope coming from anywhere else but here and other conservative talk radio and television hosts. According to BizPac Review, Jenna Ellis, the Trump campaign senior legal advisor, is the one who posted the statement on Twitter on behalf of the whole legal team. And to refresh your memory, Sidney Powell, this is Jenna Ellis. This is her tweet. Sidney Powell is practicing law on her own. She is not a member of the Trump legal team. She is also not a lawyer for the president in his personal capacity. It did not say that she was chasing false hope. It just made a distinction between two avenues they're taking. And I'm fine with that. And something one of our callers said yesterday, Megan said yesterday, sort of is being floated here. And we'll get to that. So Sidney Powell claimed that skewed algorithms are responsible for electronic voting machines switching millions of votes from Trump to Biden. What's strange about the statement is that she appeared at a press conference with the Trump legal team just last week as part of the team. Now, General Flynn's son, Mike, I don't guess he's a junior, it doesn't say junior, but he continues to insist on Parler, which is the alternate social media site owned in part by Dan Bongino. She continues to insist on Parler that the president hasn't gotten rid of Powell, noting that the whole statement might be related to funding. And this is where what Megan said comes into play. She said she thinks this was all planned. And here's a quote from Mike Flynn. Cannot confirm yet, but I'm confident this has to do with money coming in for legal defense fund. Sidney Powell has her own separate entity for legal donations that isn't in conjunction with the Trump legal team. Lynn Wood, another attorney you've heard a lot about, also tweeted out that Powell and himself are more alike than they are different, noting that all interests are aligned. So this is good news. Turns out this is good news. They just are using different avenues to get to an end. This is proper means to an end. Two different means to one end. Wood went on to say that they were fighting different legal battles for the same clients. Here's Lynn Wood's tweet. Sidney Powell and I are more alike than we are different. We are fighting different legal battles for the same clients, we the people. The people voted overwhelmingly to re-elect Donald Trump. All interests are aligned. That's his tweet. Wood said in a different tweet that everything is planned. What exactly that means is anyone's guess, obviously, at this point. But it gives you a little bit more faith. Still an uphill battle, you bet. But this is good stuff to hear, good stuff for you to know. And when it comes to knowing things about politics, when you want hard-hitting political news from the people who are convinced they know what's going on in America, then you need to look no further. You know where I'm going with this, don't you? You need to look no further than the ladies at The View. What? Say what? No, I'm not kidding you here. Whoopi, Sunny, and the luscious ladies want you to know what is happening now in Washington, D.C. with Donald Trump is nothing less than a big old coup.
And there's so much disinformation coming out about these crazy court cases that he keeps doing and what's happening in Michigan right now. I mean, it feels like they're attempting a coup to me, Sonny. I know everybody doesn't want to hear that, but that's what dictators do when they try to say this election isn't real. This didn't happen. I'm going to change it. So what do you think is happening, Sonny, particularly in Michigan and in
Sonny's
Georgia?
the brains.
Well, I have to agree with you on that, Whoopi. It feels very much like what we see in countries where there are dictators. We see these coups. We see these attempts to really to steal elections. And I think that's what we're seeing here.
Steal elections, save America.
This is an attempted coup. This is what dictators do when they want to take a country away from its people. Now, 21 people are sitting around saying, he's not, he lost. Somebody better step up before you suddenly turn around and they have taken the country.
Taken it.
And now you have no recourse.
Nothing.
You don't have a recourse. Either we fix it now or he's going to walk away with it because his lies are many and they go farther and farther and farther.
Brilliant. Brilliant. An outstanding look at what's happening to America with the View crew. I think we'll call that segment Whoopi's Washington. Or how about a Washington Week with Whoopi? First of all, you lose all credibility when your political pundit name is Whoopi. But no, it's not just her. It's not just Sonny. No. No, one not to be left speechless, ever. Joy Behar is out there now predicting the future of Donald Trump as she looks at all of his supporters and enablers, us. She looks at us as enablers of a criminal. Did you know that?
Well, you know, there's good news and bad news.
Oh.
The bad news is that, I guess a couple of weeks ago, 35% of so-called Republicans said that that Trump won the election. And now it's up to 70%. So the propaganda machine is working over at Fox and Newsmax and all these other outlets.
All these
but
other
the good news is that he has lawsuits coming out of his wherever, as he likes to say. And I think he's going to be very, very busy. And, you know, he won't be singing Macho Man. He'll be living with Macho Man in cell block 11.
Wow.
He's got a lot of time to think about what he's going to do in the next. He's thinking of running in 2024. Nah, it depends. Yeah. Does his vindictiveness and his ambition outweigh his laziness and his desire to golf? These are the questions that we'll be faced with, fortunately, in 2021 when he is gone.
Well, you know, his laziness and his desire to golf. Oh, he's been lazy. He's been so lazy. Over the last 4 years, with insurmountable odds stacked against him, when the entire Congress was held up in skiffs and in hearings trying to get rid of him, with some Republicans, a lot of Republicans, I hope most Republicans, were trying hard to prove that he did nothing wrong. And I think they did a pretty good job. In the end, they did a pretty good job. Because he's still president. We don't have Jared Golden. We don't have Angus King. We don't have Shelley Pingree. Any of the main delegation, save for Susan Collins, to thank for that. He's still our president because he did nothing wrong. Whoopi, he's going to be in prison. Sorry, I have not been paying attention to the texts. I will now. I see them coming in, and I thank you for them. Okay, hold on here. Hold on. I'm done with Star Trek Next Generation. That show saved her acting career after Sister was done. Sister Act. I'm done with Hollywood after 1988. Frig Cuomo, New York is 500 miles away. It is Tyrant Mills that is frigging up Maine. But where do you think she's getting her ideas? She's getting fortification from all of the other left-wing nut jobs running states and municipalities across the country. Oh, I agree. Mills is a tyrant. Mills is a tyrant. No question about it. She's part of the establishment. This is all part of the same big story, unfortunately. America is in need of saving right now. And yeah, we do need to start here at home by pushing back. Tyrant Mills has said, call the police if you see somebody not wearing a mask. I've got that coming up with another. Let's do some COVID stuff here that's going on around the country. Let's start with Mayor Cuomo, Governor Cuomo. I keep saying mayor. The mayor of New York City is arguably more inept than Cuomo is, but it's a pretty close race. You know, the world's all about progressive worship when people win awards they don't deserve, like, two cases, like I mentioned before, Barack Obama, the Nobel Peace Prize, and a New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, the Emmy. Fox News meteorologist Janice Dean. You may have heard about her. She's been on the news a lot lately on Fox News. And she bluntly spoke out yesterday on America's Newsroom with Sandra Smith, who I say is also part of the establishment. But she was talking about the Emmy Award that Governor Cuomo won for his wonderful COVID briefings. Oh, so what? He killed people. He killed 10,000 plus people, but his COVID briefings were nice. He wrote a book about them. He wrote a book. Both of Janice Dean's in-laws died in New York nursing homes as a result of Andrew Cuomo pushing COVID-19 patients into nursing homes to recover. And she talked about it yesterday.
I didn't think that the governor could make me more surprised after his leadership book, of course, was released over a month ago, and he's been on a self-congratulations tour to all of the television and radio stations talking about his leadership and how he flattened the curve here in New York City as cases rise. And my in-laws were on that curve that he flattened. So it's jaw-dropping, it's insulting, it's sickening to see him accept an award for his leadership that we don't have answers to when it comes to the coronavirus patients going into nursing homes for 46 days because of his executive order.
And he's not going to answer that. He doesn't have to answer that. We've all heard Governor Mills, Tyrant Mills. I'll call her Governor Mills. I'll be polite. I'm not always going to call her Governor Mills. But she is the governor. Her name is Mills. She is somewhat of a tyrant. She doesn't listen. How far will this go? She has said not wearing a mask is a reason for store owners to call the police because store owners should not have to address it. Call the police or call a code enforcement officer. If somebody is in your establishment maskless, you call the cops and you have them taken away. Because if somebody is maskless, the rest of the people in the store are too stupid to stay away from them. Personally, if I'm not going to be near people, I won't wear a mask. But if I'm going to be within 10 feet of people, I wear a mask. I do that because I have common sense. Because I understand people get nervous if you get too close without a mask. But even more importantly, to me, because I'm an individual and I care about me and my family, I don't want to catch COVID-19 from somebody who might have it. So for that reason alone, I will wear a mask. Whether or not you believe in it, that's me. That's the way I feel. That's how I work. That's how I roll. My wife is a nurse. My daughter is a nurse. They have children. They see every day. My wife sees every day the effects of COVID-19. Our doctor, who we'll have on the show tomorrow, Dr. Garofalo, just lost a good friend from COVID-19. I get it. But Janet doesn't trust us. And moreover, I think that she thinks by doing this, she'll keep the COVID numbers down and she'll be a hero. I don't know. I don't know that. no idea what's going through her mind. Science. It's science. People are too stupid to understand science, so we have to understand it for them. Now, Oregon might be an indicator of what's to come. Not just for us, but for everywhere. What's going on in Oregon? Well, Oregon's far-left governor, Kate Brown, declared a new strict COVID-19 lockdown order. A bunch of them last week. Now she's calling on Oregonians to rat out any of their neighbors who might violate her new edict that limits social gatherings, according to KGW-TV. So not only will police address people in public without masks and not social distancing, but now the governor of Oregon says it's going to extend into their homes.
My top priority as governor is to keep Oregonians healthy and safe. That's where I'm focused. We continue to make decisions based on science and data, and we want to make sure that Oregonians can access health care, whether it's hospital beds or a nurse or a doctor when they need it. So that's why we're moving forward with these common sense measures that are based on science and data.
Draconian.
Look, this is no different than what happens if there's a party down the street and it's keeping everyone awake. What do neighbors do? They call law enforcement because it's too noisy. This is just like that. It's like a violation of a noise ordinance.
Ah, okay. Like a violation of a noise ordinance. Except there's no noise. Just a gathering of friends and family, but now under Oregon's new Orwellian rules, that is no longer acceptable. Comply or suffer the consequences. You lawbreaker. Coming into people's homes. She might as well be saying that. So if neighbors see 3-4 cars in the yard on Thanksgiving Day, don't be surprised if the police show up. Could that happen in Maine? You bet it could. Scary times. And listen to what Pennsylvania's doing. With COVID-19, bars and restaurants, as we know, have taken some of the biggest hits of anyone. Many will not survive. Bars in Maine still are not allowed to open. Remember we're going to shut down the state for a couple of weeks. Just necessary businesses will be open, grocery stores and restaurants have to close. Everybody's got to close. 2 weeks, we'll flatten the curve. We'll be okay. Now, this was in March. What was that, 8 months ago? 8 months ago, right? In Pennsylvania now, and maybe across the country, one of the busiest nights of the year for restaurants and alcohol sales is Thanksgiving Eve, tomorrow night. Well, guess what night alcohol sales are going to be banned in Pennsylvania? By the way, anybody who owns a restaurant or knows someone who owns a restaurant knows that many of them stay afloat with alcohol sales because of the markup. That's how they survive. But in Pennsylvania tomorrow night, nope, the busiest night of the year for them. Can't do it. Yesterday, Secretary of Health, Dr. Rachel Levine, formerly Richard Levine, made the big announcement on behalf of Governor Tom Wolf and the administration. And this is what she had to say.
I have issued an order to suspend alcohol sales at all bars and restaurants at 5 p.m. on just one night, Wednesday, November 25th, until 8 a.m. on Thursday, November 26th.
One bar and restaurant owner named Richard Ratner was looking forward. He's been hurting. He has been hurting. He looked forward to recouping some of the lost sales tomorrow night. But abracadabra, just like magic, the government intervenes and quashes his hopes.
You wake up Monday morning, you got something to look forward to finally as a bar and restaurant owner, and the carpet gets pulled out right from underneath you.
So Ratner is SOL. And he predicts the state's attempt to keep people safe is going to backfire. And it probably will. He thinks people are going to gather for drinks anyway, in much less safe and in much less controlled areas.
Be a big private party night. And I don't think people are going to stay home like they feel because of this order. I think they're just going to push them into unsafe predicaments.
Well, I wish him good luck. I wish everybody good. I wish all the I have friends who own bars who have been closed since March. They've had to pay the overhead. I don't know how or if they're paying any of the employees, seeing there's no PPP, because Nancy Pelosi has kept the purse strings tight until she gets what she wants to grease the skids of her friends. More coming up. Another mask mandate that sounds very much like Janet Mills. Stick around, that's next. I'm John James.
Legacy 1160, WSKW, WSKW, Central Maine's Heritage Station.
What a fantastic time to shop for fall items at Townline Antiques, where you'll find 2 floors, 50 dealers, and thousands of items from throughout history. Townline Antiques carries vintage signs, furniture, classic electronics, sports memorabilia, jewelry, coins, home decor, and so much more. If you haven't been recently, there are new booths and lots of new items, including a full booth of Christmas goodies for anyone who wants to spread some early cheer. Townline Antiques, open Tuesday through Sunday from 10 to 5. Route 201, right on the Winslow-Vassaboro Town Line.
Sales and service by a family who cares. Whittemore and Sons, Whittemore and Sons.
There are some things you can simply never depend on, like buying grapes at the grocery store. Will this bag be sweet? Will it be sour? Who knows? They look the same. But know that you can always count on Whittemore & Sons in our line of Coyote tractors. Coyote tractors are machines made to work, whether it's mowing, tilling, digging, lifting, or hauling. Check out the full line of tough and versatile Coyote tractors, attachments, implements, and accessories at Whittemore & Sons, your Coyote tractor dealer, with dependable sales and service for over 50 years. Run ahead of the pack with a Coyote tractor from Whittemore & Sons on the Waterville Road in Skowhegan. Sales and service by a family who cares.
From work to fun, we'll help you get it done. Whittemore & Sons. Outdoor power equipment.
I'm CBS 13 meteorologist Lexi O'Connor. Mostly sunny but cold and windy this morning with snow showers in the mountains. Highs will be in the mid to upper 30s today, but feeling colder with a stiff northwesterly wind. Cloudy tomorrow with some light rain and some snow showers developing during the morning and into the afternoon. Some freezing rain possible Thursday morning, then cloudy with rain showers, highs in the 40s Thanksgiving.
Your pep rally for freedom is back, powered by the Gun Shop in Augusta on Coney Circle. Now, here's John James.
All right, go over a few texts and Facebook posts here. Max says, so if Cuomo won an Emmy for his Rona updates, doesn't that mean he was acting? Of course he was. Good call, Max. Yeah, he was acting. He absolutely was acting. I don't believe the emotion he showed when he was making, we're all in this together. No, seeing his brother, Chris, on CNN and seeing him get emotional is like watching second graders try to act out a scene from Gone in the Wind. I mean, it's not believable. It's not believable. They're out of their element, so to speak. Wow. Alan, I just read this. I did not know that. Really? Whew. I'm not going, ooh, I just got the chills. We're talking about turkeys dying of heart attacks. And I said, that was preferable, as far as I'm concerned, that would be preferable to getting your head lopped off. And wow. Okay, that's kind of scary. Lisa, John, I've had the same argument on Facebook, and they call me crazy, conspiracy theorist, ignorant, etc. Now I just leave myself out of the conversation because it's not worth my time anymore. The left will see the truth someday if they ever wake up. I don't think they will wake up, Lisa. I really don't. I have no faith that they will ever wake up. To the text line, I think this was from yesterday. We were talking about this. Giuliani and Ellis can only address voting issues. Powell is the criminal pit dog. She is a former federal prosecutor. I think if Sidney Powell can make her case in concert with Giuliani and Jenna Ellis making their cases, I think they have got a hell of a case to be made. We just have to wait. And we aren't going to have to wait much longer. You know that because we can't, because the clock is ticking. So we'll see how fast this thing can move. And there's more coming out each day. Yes, SpaghettiOs are still a big thing with my kiddos. I miss Randolph. Oh, Lisa used to live in Randolph. My grandparents were your neighbors. Oh, really? No kidding. Well, I did not know that, Lisa. That's interesting. Good to know. Yeah, we're talking about a picture of me and my daughter when she was just a little girl. Her birthday is today. She's 30 years old today. Got a kid and one on the way, and she's doing very well. And the picture of her and me on Facebook is me feeding her SpaghettiOs. The next time one of us feeds the other, I think she's probably going to be feeding me. I shudder to think. But that is the circle of life, is it not? We hate to, we don't even think about that, do we? We don't like to think about these things. But they are, in fact, true. It is part of the circle of life. 10:40 right now, Legacy 1160 WSKW. So another mask mandate in another state, and this one sounds very, very Governor Mills-like. This guy's a Republican governor, too. His name's Larry Hogan. He's the governor of Maryland. Said during a media briefing about the coronavirus, he actually made a pretty dubious claim about mask wearing. Here's what he had to say, and I think you can put these words right into the mouth of Janet Mills. In fact, if you want to get a transcript of this statement, Governor Mills, it's at The Blaze. I'm not going to get it for you and email it to you. You can go to The Blaze and you can get it. It'll save you from writing down the words on your own. Just credit the governor. You don't want to plagiarize. And you can make this same announcement later today. Listen.
Well, it's sort of like saying I have a constitutional right to drive drunk. I have a constitutional right to not wear a seatbelt or to yell fire in a crowded movie theater or to not follow the speed limit. We're talking about 250,000 people dying already, more than, the Korean War, the Gulf War, and the Vietnam War added together. Which part don't you understand? You wear the mask. There's no constitutional right to walk around without a mask. We did it in 1918. I don't know why we can't do it now.
So you don't have a constitution. You don't have a constitutional right not to wear a mask, says Larry Hogan of Maryland, a rhino, clearly. He compares it to driving drunk. First of all, driving is not a constitutional right. Larry, driving is a privilege in all 50 states. It's not a right. It's not a right. Just like abortion isn't a right. Killing babies in the womb isn't a right. That's not even a privilege. That's just murder. But they've made it legal. There are a lot of things the left says are rights that are nowhere in the Constitution and are not guaranteed by the Constitution. They're guaranteed by a group of leftist ideologues that say, well, this ought to be constitutional, so damn it, we're going to make it legal. Like abortion, like health care for all, like tuition for all, like housing for all. Not in the Constitution, Larry. Not in the Constitution, Governor Mills. Not there. Wearing a mask, forcing people to wear a mask is unconstitutional, so long as I am going maskless and not breathing and coughing and spewing on people. That's where my right interferes with their right. And here's where there's going to be a divide between me and others who agree with most everything I say. We're always going to have disagreements. But if it's a fact and you cannot prove to me that it's not a fact, you can't. There's too much information coming from all directions. So what do you do when you don't know what the true fact is? You err on the side of what? I know you know this. Caution. So, if masks are preventative when it comes to giving and receiving germs, then if I am with close proximity of other people who I don't know are COVID positive or negative, then I will err on the side of caution. I will do that because I'm a nice guy. I don't want to make anybody, I don't care what your political ideology is. I want to be a nice person. I want to be a good person. I don't want to infringe on somebody else's rights, nor do I want them to infringe on mine. If somebody gives me COVID-19 because they're not wearing a mask, then they're infringing on my rights. So I just won't get near them because I'm smart that way. If I'm going to be close to people, I will put a mask on. I will err on the side of caution. I don't need to be told. I don't need to be told by the government because unlike Larry Hogan of Maryland says, I do have a constitutional right not to wear a mask if I'm not impinging on somebody else's freedom. It's all about freedom. Freedom of movement, freedom of expression, freedom to be an individual. Not a constitutional right, he said. I did fact check this claim about 1918, and I found this from an old CBS News story. And he was correct in the mask during the, Spanish flu. More than a century ago, during the 1918 flu pandemic, there were some similar feelings about masks. As Americans were celebrating victory in World War I in the fall of 1918, the masks on returning troops showed that the U.S. was losing another war against the so-called Spanish flu. They put so-called in there because they want to be virtuous. They don't want to blame it on Spain or the Spanish. Masks were controversial back then for many of the same reasons they are today, according to Nancy Tomes, a history professor at the State University of New York at Stony Brook. It's okay, I'll give him the nod on that. He was right. People did apparently wear masks during the Spanish flu, even though they didn't want to. Was there a mandate? I don't know. That would be interesting to look up, wouldn't it? Was there a mandate back then that you had to wear a mask? I don't know the answer to that question. I don't know as it matters now. The masks weren't much good back then anyway, from what I've read. Clearly, a lot of people died. Well, we lost about a third of the world's population. Wow. Maybe more than that. I can't remember. I used to know what the percentage of the world's population was. It was enormous. 1047 on Legacy 1160 WSKW. And I want to do a piece now that I was going to do yesterday. We ran out of time for this, but this is a very good piece. Yeah, we've got time. Steve Hilton, he's a Brit, did a great piece on Fox News. And he illustrated differences between Donald Trump and Joe Biden in the two ideologies. Half of all voters are being blindly led by the cult. I'm not talking about conservatives. No, I'm talking about the left. They're the ones who need re-education, not Trump conservatives. Yeah, somebody said we need to be re-educated. Re-education camps in America. There you go. That'll go over well with a free country, won't it? But this is how they think. They think in terms of socialism and control. This is how they think. And the leftist progressives are all too eager to follow them. Led by brains, Mensa people like AOC and Ilhan, I married my brother Omar. And Rashida impeached the mother effer Tlaib. People like that. The brains of Congress are who the progressive left are eager. They're not just willing, they're eager to follow because they're going to save the world. They're going to save us from ourselves with electric cars, with solar panels and windmills, with government-run health care. Oh, it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be a beautiful world. It's going to be, I dare say, it's going to be a utopia. There. You're happy I said it. We're in for utopia under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. I can't wait. Free stuff everywhere. But wait. Who's going to pay for it? What? What do you mean we are? No, they said they were going to pay for it. Okay, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. So the left was brainwashed, and they got into lockstep with the liars and the globalists. And here we are. Here we are now looking at a potential communist Joe Biden administration. Don't tell me he's a moderate. Don't even tell me he's a moderate. Don't think I'm that stupid. You may be, but I'm not. He is no moderate. He is a puppet. He is a puppet of the far left. Bernie Sanders, AOC, and Rashida Tlaib all said they were going to move him to the left, and I think they can because his right-hand man or woman, I guess, Kamala Harris, is also there with the squad, and she'll help drive him there if she herself doesn't become president, which is most likely to happen eventually. So Steve Hilton understands this, and he lays it out perfectly. So here you go. I want you to hear this and take it to heart because he's right.
For years, we've been warning on this show that the establishment will do anything to get their power back. Trump's new conservative populism, pro-business on tax and regulation, pro-worker on trade and immigration, reversed decades of wage stagnation for working Americans and brought us historically low unemployment. But the establishment hated it. Corporate America hated it. It's the exact opposite of their ideology, globalism. To them, the idea of putting America first is uncouth, embarrassing. Their priority is not improving the lives of American workers and families, but winning the approval of their friends in the elite by reciting the correct mantras on the climate crisis, systemic racism, and inequality. preferably by taking private jets to conferences at luxury resorts where the liberal white bosses are waited on by people of color. Underpinning this entire elitist establishment is the swamp. The swamp is what makes it all work. Big business in bed with big government, the revolving door between the two, lobbying, influence peddling, whining and dining. You could call it structural corruption. And ever since he got into the presidential race, we've been telling you that Joe Biden is the swamp. But it's hard to believe how openly and comprehensively he's now proving just how right we were. Last week, we showed you his so-called transition team crawling with swamp lobbyists and corporate cronies from big tech and big business. Tonight, we'll bring you details you have not seen reported anywhere else about Biden's scheme to bring the swamp directly into the White House at the highest level. He wants to do it in the form of this man, Steve the Swamp Ricchetti. Ricchetti was named this week as counselor to the president on a chart in which Biden grandly announced his White House senior staff. Ricchetti is a living, breathing example of everything that is corrupt and broken in our government. It's so disgusting that even fellow Democrats wanted to stop Biden bringing him in. Even Elizabeth Warren has warned against him. Back in 2008, President Obama's top aides blocked Steve Ricchetti from being hired, but Joe Biden was so desperate to have his corrupt crony by his side that he found a loophole, and Ricchetti ended up as Vice President Biden's chief of staff. Ricchetti's swamp career started in the late 80s when he began running the lobbying department for the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association. Then he went on to be the executive director of the Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee before joining the Clinton administration in 1992. And guess what he did there? This man, Ricchetti, who Biden, working class Joe from Scranton, Pennsylvania, champion of blue-collar America, the man that Biden wants right by his side in the White House, is the very same man who bullied Democrats in Congress into voting for NAFTA, resulting in the collapse of American manufacturing and the shipping of millions of jobs overseas. Once Ricchetti was done selling out American workers, he cashed in on his public service by selling his government contacts and experience to the highest bidder with a new lobbying firm that he opened along with his brother, Jeff, Ricchetti and Associates. Remind you of anything? Two brothers, well-connected Washington insiders, part of the corrupt Clinton gang, opening a swamp lobbying firm with their name above the door. Yep, just like the Podestas. And would you believe it, the Ricchettis ended up selling their sleazy firm to the Podesta's sleazy firm, and the two sets of brothers shared the spoils. Jeff Ricchetti went on to work for Tony Podesta on the outside, while Steve Ricchetti went back into the White House to work for John Podesta. Isn't that neat? In fact, at the time, Tony Podesta even compared this rotten quartet to the Medici family who ruled Italy in the Renaissance, saying, quote, "The Medicis controlled everything. We have it split into two families." Have you ever heard anything so nauseatingly arrogant? The government's supposed to work for you, the American people. But for Washington's insular ruling elite, government is just an opportunity to make themselves rich and powerful. In the election campaign, we called it Bidenomics. You get poorer, they get richer. That is Steve Ricchetti's core belief system. He wasn't done screwing American workers with NAFTA. There were millions more manufacturing jobs he could send away, thousands of working class communities across the heartland that he could hollow out and destroy. In 2000, before leaving the White House, it was Steve Ricchetti who led the charge in getting China admitted to the WTO. Yeah, that deal, probably the single most destructive act of economic self-harm in American history. So, NAFTA and China. Nice work, Steve the Swamp. Once his dirty work in the Clinton White House was done, well, you can guess the next part. It was time for the Ricchettis to cash out. They started another lobbying firm, Ricchetti Inc., and you can guess who hired them, a laundry list of corporate America's biggest names. Telecoms companies like AT&T, Siemens, Sprint, and Nextel, pharma companies like Pfizer, Eli Lilly, and Novartis, insurance associations, hospital trade groups, even tech companies like eBay, and of course, the military-industrial complex with defense contractors like United Technologies. In 2008, Steve Ricchetti went back into the bowels of Clinton Inc., bundling donations for Hillary's first failed presidential campaign. After she lost, he eventually managed to worm his way into the Obama administration, skirting new ethics rules by deregistering as a lobbyist and rebranding himself an advisor. That's the Democrat way. You lobby, but I advise.
How about that? Steve Hilton from Fox News Channel. Now, Steve Ricchetti is who he's talking about, a lobbyist who rose to higher power and higher pay during the Obama years. Lobbyist, advisor, whatever you want to call him. He's a chameleon. He's a chameleon and can worm his way into whatever position's available. How sleazy is he? Well, he can basically quit his job and still make almost $2 million from it.
In fact, despite deregistering as a lobbyist and without signing an ethics waiver, Ricchetti still managed to rake in $1.8 million from his lobbying firm in 2011, dwarfing his income as a White House official. And after sneaking Ricchetti in a year later in 2013, he took over as Vice President Biden's chief of staff, where he remained for the duration of the Obama administration. All while his brother Jeff continued his lobbying through Ricchetti Inc. Oh, but I'm sure there was no special access right. No way that swamp lobbyist Jeff Ricchetti would in any way benefit from the fact that his brother Steve was the vice president's chief of staff. I mean, that kind of thing would never happen around Joe Biden, who always insists on a strict separation between government business and family interests. And of course, there's absolutely no connection at all, obviously, between the fact that Jeff Ricchetti's lobbying business later saw a massive spike in business just as his brother Steve, the Swamp, became chairman of Biden's presidential campaign in 2019. New clients picked up by the Biden campaign. Sorry, Ricchetti Inc. It's so easy to get confused, including multinational corporations in big tech and big pharma. Clients like GlaxoSmithKline, a British pharma giant and one of the most heavily fined drug companies in the world. In 2012, they were fined $3 billion in one settlement alone for bribing doctors to prescribe antidepressants to children. Or clients like Applied Materials, which sells semiconductor manufacturing equipment to China, helping the Chinese military produce precision weapons. But that's fine because, well, Joe China, I guess. President Trump completely reoriented the West's policy towards China after 50 years of establishment suck-up that put China on the brink of world domination. We are finally standing up to them. But now we're seeing ominous reports that Biden wants to roll it all back.
Absolutely.
On day one, according to Axios, Biden wants re-engagement. He wants to unwind Trump-era actions, to reverse the crackdown on China's spying, to remove restrictions on Chinese journalists in the U.S. This is the establishment agenda.
Amen.
This is the big business agenda. And Biden wants Steve the Swamp Ricchetti right there in the Oval Office pushing it.
Buddies.
For years, conservatives may have thought positively of corporate America. We're pro-business, right? Yes, we are. But we are pro-real business, not these giant global bureaucracies that corporate America has become. We are pro-small business, pro-entrepreneur. Conservatives need to wake up. Corporate America is not your friend. Just since the election, not just Facebook and Twitter, but big businesses including Airbnb, PayPal, and Target have attacked conservatives. Corporate America looks down on you. Corporate America censors you. Corporate America hates you.
Amen.
And now, corporate America wants even more power over you.
And they're getting
by putting its stooge in the White House. Steve the Swamp Ricchetti, a godfather of NAFTA, an agent for China, a corrupt swamp lobbyist who got rich off pretending to work for you. He is a symbol of everything that's wrong with our system. His presence in the White House would be a stain on our democracy. It would be wrong and unacceptable, and we must not let it happen. We must stop the Biden swamp.
I hope we can. This is where the hope comes in. Got rich off allegedly serving you. Who does that sound like? Sounds like Joe Biden to me. Have you seen his bottom line? I don't recall it right off the top of my head. Wow, his bottom line has gone up. He's making bank. For him and his family, they'll never have anything to worry about. Lunchbox Joe, boy, does he have you fooled if you're a leftist. Does he have you fooled? Oh, we hate corporations. Corporations going to pay the top 1%. The corporations are the ones who are against us. Constitution-loving, God-fearing, gun-toting Americans. They're the ones who are against us. The Democrats secretly love them. Love them. And the Democrats, are going to, if they get in office, they are going to return the favor. You bet. It'll help make them not lose another election. That and getting rid of the Electoral College and who knows what else they've got up their corrupt, evil sleeves. Oh, it's all conspiracy theory. Yeah. You're not going to like it any more than we do. It's just that we see it. You don't. If you're a leftist, if you're a progressive, listen. Listen with your ears and your brain, not with your heart and your emotions. Oh, open borders. Free health care for illegal immigrants. So we need to do it's the human thing to do. It's a sickness. It's a mental disorder that can't be cured. Well, some maybe. There's still some hope for some. I've seen people come around during the Trump years. A lot of people have. I mean, look, 73 million votes. Are you kidding me? And those are the votes that were counted for Trump. There are many more out there. I do believe he won in a landslide, all things being equal, but as we know, they're not. As was proven, big tech may have cost him at least 8 million votes. Google, Facebook, Twitter. These are the big corporations that the left hates, but they embrace them, really. They don't want you to know they embrace them, but they do, and they'll pay it back in big ways under Joe Biden. We'll lose more jobs. Our energy industry will be down the toilet. Millions of people will be out of work. Gas will be $4, $5, $6 a gallon. Oh, won't it be great? All for the greater good, they said. It's 11:05. Back with more. I'm John James.
WSKW, Legacy 1160.
Hi, my name is Tony Esposito from Rockland Ford. This year has been crazy, and this month, so are our deals. Ford has finally started making cars again, so our lot is full and the incentives are high. This month only, you can buy a brand new redesigned Ford Escape for as low as $22,415 or $359 a month with no money down. I repeat, you can buy a brand new Ford Escape at Rockland Ford for as low as $359 a month with no money down. And if a truck is what you need, we got you covered. Rockland Ford just made a special purchase of 35 low-mileage program F-150s, as low as $23,995 or only $359 a month with no money down. This month only, buy a brand new Escape or program F-150 for $359 a month with no money down. Call us while supplies last at Rockland Ford, home of the Rock Bottom Deal, Route 1 in Thomaston.
Payments are for qualified credit for 84 months at 4.5% APR.
Electrical repair should never be done without the knowledge of how to do it safely. Better yet, skip that stress and let Kennebec Electric and Lighting take care of it for you. Kennebec Electric has offered professional electric and lighting service and expert installation in homes and businesses for over 37 years, and they stand behind that experience with a guarantee on all their work. Kennebec Electric and Lighting. Contact them for all your electric and lighting servicing, including installations and repairs at 861-7028 or online at KennebeckElectric.com.
From the Home Auto Group Studios, Farmington Ford and Franklin Chrysler in Farmington. This is WSKW, Skowhegan, Augusta, Waterville, Legacy 1160.
ABC News, I'm Jim Ryan.
President-elect Joe Biden is moving forward with the transition. That doesn't mean President Trump is conceding or giving up his court fights over the election.
President Trump writing on Twitter Tuesday morning that his legal team will soon file a, quote, big lawsuit. The president says this, quote, spells out in great detail of the ballot fraud and more, end quote. Mr. Trump provided no details of what the lawsuit would focus on, where it would be filed, and when. Since the election, he's promised on Twitter what he called big cases, but the president's legal team has provided zero evidence of widespread voter fraud, and his campaign and its allies have lost at least 30 cases in court. Karen Travers, ABC News, Washington.
Biden is expected to formally name his national security team later today. Another 150,000 Americans have been infected with coronavirus, and hospitalizations are at another all-time high. New restrictions are in place in several cities. Los Angeles County has told people not to gather with anyone outside their household, even outside. This is ABC News. The first and only black man to serve as mayor of New York City has died. David Dinkins was elected in 1989 when he said,
all of us, each of us in our city must come together if we are to succeed.
He defeated Rudy Giuliani, who then beat Dinkins in a rematch 4 years later. On Twitter this morning, Giuliani, now serving as the president's attorney, extended his condolences and said Dinkins' service to New York City is, quote, respected and honored by all. David Dinkins was 93 years old. Home prices have jumped again across the country. The S&P CoreLogic Index of prices in 20 cities was up more than 6.5% in September compared to a year ago. Low interest rates are helping to drive strong demand, but the number of homes available is the lowest on record. And President Trump this afternoon is set to keep a White House tradition, the pardoning of the national Thanksgiving turkey. This year's candidates are named Corn and Cobb. They come from a farm in Iowa. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Just in time for holiday baking, stuffing, cookies, and cleaning, the Home Depot has up to 40% off top-rated appliances, plus up to $700 in instant savings. The best prices of the year already here. Add to that free and flexible delivery, and the holidays get even sweeter. Holiday appliance shopping improved. Up to 40% off appliances now at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Continental U.S. only while supplies last. Valid through December 2nd. Free delivery on orders $396 or more.
Is the cost of finishing your basement worth the benefit of some peace and quiet? When questions find you, Merrill Edge Self-Directed Investing can help you find answers with personalized planning tools and insights to help you get where you want to go, even if it's just downstairs. Merrill, a Bank of America company. Visit merrilledge.com/withinreach to get started today.
Investing involves risk. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated. Registered broker-dealer, member SIPC. Investment products are not FDIC insured or not bank guaranteed and may lose value.
Here's a man who won't be controlled by the government. He'll keep his guns. He'll keep his gas guzzler. And he'll keep his thermostat where he damn well pleases. Here's the friendliest man in America, climate change denier, John James.
It's 11:11. 11 past 11 o'clock in the morning. Welcome to your pep rally. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. We are on with we've got an extra feed going out, a direct feed going out this morning to America, to Right America Media. And we're working with them. And so welcome aboard. It's a great network for those who may be watching the show on Right America right now. It's a great network. Coming up at 2 o'clock today. And we did this yesterday. I announced this yesterday that I would be on the Right America Media Network with my friend Doc Green. And we were going to do it via Zoom, which is a great platform. I had my studio all set up. You know, I had the American flag behind me, Old Glory. Had the studio lights on. It was great. Got the video going. It was perfect. I thought this is going to be great. And I got a text from him, said, I emailed you a link. So I wondered where I was going to find, because I've got like 7 email addresses. So I checked them all and couldn't find it. Signed into my Zoom account, and I saw that he had sent a link, but it wasn't clickable. It It was just a link. So I copied it and I pasted it into the browser and nothing. Eventually, I wound up getting on with him by phone. And we talked about this stuff. I mean, what's going on? We talked about all this stuff. He's a great guy. He's a good man. He's a veteran. He's a Christian. And so I was pleased to get on with him by phone. So I'm sitting there with studio lights on me, a great video, and I'm on the phone with no video on his screen. So after his show, we got in touch, and I said, "What email am I supposed to be checking, Doc?" And he gave me an address. He said, "Well, I sent it to this address," and he sent it to, somehow the address got transcribed incorrectly. So he sent it to an address I don't have. So I gave him the right address, and he sent it to me, and it had a clickable link. And I clicked it, and boom, I was in his studio. He was done. He was off the air by then. But we made it work, and it was all the email address. So we're tomorrow afternoon, in the second hour of his show after 3 o'clock, I'm going to, once again, turn the studio lights on. I'm going to have something. I don't know if I'll have the flag or what, maybe something from Maine. Give me a good backdrop. If you think Maine should be represented, he's in Texas. So if you think Maine should be represented on the show, I'll do Maine. Maybe I'll put Janet Mills behind me. How about this? How about if I put Janet Mills peeking through the window? Oh, that's a great idea. I've seen that meme. That's what we'll do. We'll put the governor peering through the window. That will be my backdrop. But Doc's a great guy. He's on the One America, the Right America Media Network, and so I'll be on with him tomorrow. And if you're watching on the Right America Media Facebook page right now, you've got a great show in Doc Green. He'll be on with Right Side of the Mic today, starting at 2 o'clock. And he's a fine-looking man, too. Not as good-looking as me. No, I'm kidding. Everybody's better looking than me. Are you kidding me? I think I turned the camera. Maybe it's better if the camera's not facing me. For your pleasure. It's 11:15 right here on Legacy 1160 WSKW. And did you know that BLM, Black Lives Matter, who, by the way, is not in support of Black lives, they're in support of totalitarianism, Marxism, etc. They are making demands already of who President-elect wrong Biden. Will he be president? I don't know. I hope not. That's where my hope is. I don't know. There's a good chance he will be. You've got to accept that to an extent. You don't, because you're accepting it even a little bit is not going to change the outcome no matter what, but it will get you ready for what could happen. Knowing Trump is going to be president is a great thing to know in your heart. But I'm telling you, you've seen how the system works and doesn't work. Setting yourself up like that, you're going to be setting yourself up for a huge letdown. A guy was actually in tears did you hear the guy? A guy said he was on with Rush Limbaugh the other day, said he was crying over this whole thing. He said he would give his life to have Donald Trump for president or for Donald Trump. That's the greatness he sees in our president. The greatness that is there. From a billionaire reality show host from New York City. Somebody who none of us in a million years would ever think we could connect with. Someone who never in a million years, when he floated the idea of running in 2012. Do you remember that? He announced it before that he was going to run for president. And what did we do? We all laughed. We all said, give me a break. And then when he came on the scene in 2015 or 2014, I forget what it was, saying he was going to run for president in 2016, The Apprentice was on TV and he was a star, and you're fired, and people love to hate him, and we all laughed. And then he started saying things that maybe we didn't agree with, but they resonated. Not because we agreed with him necessarily. I didn't agree with a lot of the things he said. But I'm someone who refuses to be and will never be politically correct. That's why the past few years on commercial radio, I had a little bit of a lot of pushback from the audience because I'm not going to be politically correct. And here comes this guy who isn't sounding like a politician. Did I hate it when he jumped on John McCain? Well, John McCain was a rhino. John McCain wasn't a friend of the right by any means, but John McCain was a Vietnam-era war hero. He was a POW. I respect that. I thank him for his service. When Donald Trump came on the scene and said, John McCain was a prisoner of war. I like veterans who weren't prisoners. Wow. Well, I wasn't on board with that. But here's a guy who didn't seem to care what he said. So I paid closer attention because all the people saying, yeah, you go. And a lot of people didn't like what he said about John McCain. And I understand to this day why Meghan McCain doesn't like Donald Trump. I get that. I will give her that. Of all the people I can give, of anybody I can give the benefit of the doubt to for not liking Donald Trump, it's Meghan McCain and John McCain's wife. I get that. Then he started talking about immigration, talking about it, and not in immigration terms, but the Mexicans, the druggies, the MS-13 gang members who are coming in through the borders and taking our jobs and killing our people. I thought, wow. You couldn't even get Barack Obama to say Islamic terrorists. And here's a would-be presidential candidate nominee saying that the Mexican illegal aliens are coming into our country, killing our people and taking our jobs. Well, I was on board with that. Nobody had ever said that before. And here's this guy who dares to say it. So I listened some more and more. And he started giving people names. Crooked Hillary, Lion Ted Cruz. I'm thinking, this guy doesn't care what he says. Yeah, he had won my heart at that point. So it was no surprise to me when he became the only man standing in the Republican field of candidates. And most of the people he insulted, Lion Ted Cruz, I can't even think of them all. The guy from Florida, I forget his name. He's a senator. They support him. They've come back and they're supporting him now. Who was the guy who's now his not Surgeon General, but housing director, HUD director? I forget his name. African American guy, great guy, the brain surgeon. The neurosurgeon. I have a hard time with names. But he's on board with the president. And they love him. They love him because they see that he has no facade. He has no mask. He's not hiding. And that is the very thing the Democrats and the progressives hate. They hate. And by proxy, they hate America because it's clear from his lack of any barrier whatsoever when it comes to what he says. It's clear that he loves America. He has experienced American exceptionalism, not by being a politician, but by being a businessman. All of these other people in politics who have gotten rich, like Joe Biden, like Barack Obama, like Bill Clinton, how much wealth have they gained because of politics? That didn't happen with Donald J. Trump. He's written no books. He's taken no pay. He's lost half his industry, at least half his industry's patrons, because half the country hates him. But he doesn't care. They just love to hate. They would rather see, I'm convinced, their hatred for Donald Trump is so palpable, so visceral, that they would literally rather see America become a communist hellhole than see Donald Trump succeed at anything. And they have also put that onto us. In fact, AOC has intimated that she would like to call out or dox, if you will, people who support Trump to see that they never work again. They are the party of hate. They hate you. They hate America. They hate Trump. They hate capitalism. They hate us. BLM founder Patrisse Cullors is now making demands of Joe Biden because he's malleable, he is pliable, he is putty in the hands of the extreme. If anybody is going to give an inch to the far left radicals, to the activists of the Democratic Party, it is Joe Biden. And Kamala Harris is already a lost cause. Kamala Harris is nothing more than a virtue signaling, hypocritical suck up. And she doesn't believe in women. She doesn't believe in Me Too. She believes in Kamala Harris. Surprise! She believes in Kamala and Kamala only. She and her lapdog husband, Dougie, who quit his job and came to Washington to be the vice presidential lapdog, to be the second man. Isn't that nice? Isn't he a good guy? Sweet guy. I hope he winds up going back to California along with Kamala. Taillights, baby. That's what I'm hoping for. Again, the hope is alive. Don't get me wrong. The hope is alive. But don't think Kamala is anything less than a hypocritical part of the institution, the most liberal senator in Washington, D.C., the most dislikable candidate on the Democratic stage. She got out first because she had no way, she had no path to become the presidential nominee. But now suddenly she does, because Joe Biden said, I will choose a woman of color. Why? Because he's pliable. Because Al Sharpton and Joy Reid said, you've got to choose a woman of color. Do you want Stacey Abrams? Do you want Kamala Harris? Who do you want? Here are your choices. So Joe Biden, like a good boy, said, okay, just give me time. Give me time. At first it was floated Amy Klobuchar might be his But she didn't fit the suit. To coin an old Johnny Bravo phrase, she didn't fit the suit. So he moved on. In fact, he may have been considering Amy Klobuchar at one point because she let it slip at one point that she was the vice presidential choice at a speech. I don't know if you remember that, but she did. She let it slip. So apparently she had it on pretty good authority that she was going to be the running mate. But that didn't happen. So now it was the Harris-Biden ticket. No, I didn't get that wrong. The Harris-Biden ticket. Biden was the inept voice of the ticket, and the force behind it was Kamala Harris. Now Black Lives Matter is making demands. And if anybody will align with the demands of Black Lives Matter, it is potential President-elect Joe Biden. So what is she demanding? Well, let's look at this. This is very interesting. Patrisse Cullors, one of the 3 co-founders of Black Lives Matter, is calling on Joe Biden to enact far-left legislation that would lead to the abolition. Wait a minute. You're going to think this needs a rim shot or a laugh track, but it's dead serious. She wants Joe Biden. She is demanding. Have I mentioned she's a Marxist, a trained Marxist, and a trained community organizer? Those are 2 things you don't want to hear. Not if you're serious about freedom. You don't want to hear either of those 2 things. She is demanding that Joe Biden enact legislation that will lead to the abolition of police and prisons. That's what you voted for. You voted for people who align with that ideology. And Patrisse Cullors is no dummy. She knows. She knows. This isn't about black lives. BLM isn't about black lives. The slogan is great. There's nothing wrong with the slogan. People marching around with Black Lives Matter cards, posters really mean it. They don't know what happened in the bowels of the organization that founded BLM. But when you get down to the root, you get down to the very beginnings of where that phrase came from and what it represents, you see something hideous, something very un-American. Now, in July, no surprise, Democratic Representatives Rashida Tlaib and Ayanna Pressley announced the Breathe Act. You remember that? The Breathe Act, which aims to bring revolutionary change to the United States. Again, revolution, a big part of the platform. Revolution. We heard AOC say it. We've heard Rashida Tlaib say it. We heard that poor excuse for a city councilor, Shama Sawant in Seattle, say it. Wait, what? Bernie Sanders has said it. These are the people who are pushing Joe Biden to the left. These are the people who are now publicly saying we need to push Joe Biden to the left. The same people who introduced the Breathe Act, which has not been brought to Congress yet. Now, here is what the legislation demands. This will be a learning experience. An end to life sentences, as well as all mandatory minimum sentencing laws. In a Teen Vogue article, Patrisse Cullors wrote that the act would, quote, put us on the road to police and prison abolition, The Breathe Act demands the dismantling of the Drug Enforcement Agency, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, Custom and Border Protection, and Immigration Detention Centers, opening the doors to anybody who wants to come and get a free ride until the money runs out. And the money will run out. This is the stupidity. This is the ignorance that these people are pushing. Legislation also demands the repeal of federal laws that criminalize human movement and border entry. In other words, come on in. We're going to look the other way. Sounds like an Ethan Strimling, former mayor of Portland, dream. The Breathe Act calls for repealing and replacing the 1994 Violent Crime Control and Law Enforcement Act, which Biden, as chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee back then, largely wrote and shepherded through the legislative process. That's the act that put many, many black Americans in prison. There's what Joe Biden did in 47 years. He locked up people of color. There's his claim to fame. There's what he did back in the 1990s. He does have something to hang his hat on. And he hasn't repented yet. That's what this is. This is repentance for Biden. The Breathe Act would create a commission to study reparations for African Americans based on mass criminalization, including the war on drugs, the criminalization of prostitution, and police violence, border violence, and systemic violation of the U.S. government's treaty obligations to tribal nations. Eliminating surveillance tactics that are disproportionately used to target black, brown, and Muslim communities by prohibiting predictive policing, racial recognition technologies, drones, and similar tools. All part of the Breathe Act. Eliminating the use of electronic monitoring, including ankle monitors, smartphone applications, and any other tool to track location. It calls for the removal of all police, school resource officers, and armed security from schools. Plus, metal detectors and surveillance equipment would be banned under the Breathe Act. Public school systems would be required to develop curricula that examines the political, economic, and social impacts of colonialism, genocide against indigenous people, and slavery. The Breathe Act would call for the creation of comprehensive health centers that offer culturally competent services for all people, including services related to reproductive health, aka legal murder of babies. All part of the Breathe Act. The proposal requests job programs that specifically target the most economically disadvantaged individuals, including black, cis, and trans women, formerly incarcerated people, undocumented people, illegal aliens, and disabled people. Oh yeah, the Breathe Act is a project by the Movement for Black Lives, a coalition of more than 150 organizations. Colors, who is a self-described Marxist, called the Breathe Act a landmark civil rights bill. And she wants the next presidential administration to prioritize the passing of it. Colors told The Hollywood Reporter, quote, "We are requesting that in the first 100 days, the Biden-Harris administration works to pass this legislation." This is a watershed moment, Colors said. I think this moment calls for a structural change and transformative change in ways we haven't seen in a very long time. How about in ways we've never seen? Patrice Cullors, founder of BLM. We see this as an opportunity to push the Breathe Act as part of what we're calling the modern-day Civil Rights Act. Only this goes way further. When asked about the 2020 presidential election, Cullors said, black people, especially black women, have saved the United States. Whether Milwaukee, Detroit, Philadelphia, Atlanta, or Los Angeles, black voters showed up in huge numbers to turn this country around and remove the racist in the White House. You don't think she's going to have power? You don't think her organization's going to have power to mold legislation, to push the left? I'll tell you, listen to me here. If we don't get the 2 Georgia seats, if we don't win the 2 Georgia seats, then I think you can kiss America as we know it goodbye. Even if we do, all bets are off under a Biden administration, which we still hope never sees the light of day. So we've got that. And don't even bother arguing the point on Facebook or Twitter. You're going to get called a conspiracy theorist. You're going to be sworn at. You're going to be yelled at. And the mob's going to come out for you. They're going to. They're going to, because you can't argue with idiots. Got 11:39 right now. Oh, yeah, we've got more to come. This won't be a long break either. Stick around. I'll be right back. I'm John James.
Legacy 1160 WSKW.
What a fantastic time to shop for fall items at Town Line Antiques, where you'll find 2 floors, 50 dealers, and thousands of items from throughout history. Town Line Antiques has vintage signs, furniture, classic electronics, sports memorabilia, jewelry, coins, home decor, and more. If you haven't been recently, there are new booths and lots of new items, including a full booth of Christmas goodies for anyone who wants to spread some early cheer. Town Line Antiques, open Tuesday through Sunday from 10 to 5. Route 201, right on the Winslow-Vassalboro.
Hello. Hey, Facebook viewers, YouTube viewers. Thank you for being here. Welcome to Right America Media. And thank you to my buddy Juan. Juan, the media god. I mean that in the quite literal sense, by the way. Great to be a part of the network. I hope we make it a regular thing. I think we're going to. And welcome to everybody who's on here from Maine and from everywhere. It's great to have you here. We're talking freedom. That's the only language we know. I take no prisoners. Say it like it is. Hopefully won't offend anybody. If it does, you've got thick skin. If you've stood by Trump for 4 years, you've got thick skin. Keep standing, my friend. It's time to get back. See you on the radio.
And windy this morning with snow showers in the mountains. Highs will be in the mid to upper 30s today, but feeling colder with a stiff northwesterly wind. Cloudy tomorrow with some light rain and some snow showers developing during the morning and into the afternoon. Some freezing rain possible Thursday morning, then cloudy with rain showers, highs in the 40s Thanksgiving.
Your pep rally for freedom is back. Powered by the Gun Shop in Augusta on Coney Circle. Now, here's John James.
Hi. Yeah, I know I haven't been watching the phones. Thank you for this. Somebody spotted it. Somebody spotted it. Hi, good morning. You're on with John. How are you?
Hey, Moscow, Miko.
Hey, Mikkel, how's it going?
Just a little bit depressed lately.
Oh, no. No, don't be depressed.
Well, anyway.
Let us get you out of it. What are you depressed? Well, maybe it's something I can't help you with.
Well, you're a good man.
Well, no, you're a good man. I appreciate your loyalty.
For your backdrop, the original Maine flag.
The original Maine flag, the one with the pine tree?
It has a blue star.
Yes.
A white pine.
Okay.
On a yellow field.
Done.
Okay, that's what you need to have. And then, of course, above that, you need to have good old glory.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I can do both. I can do both flags. Absolutely.
And then above, and then going back to your Biden moment, it's Rubio from Florida.
Marco Rubio. Thank you. Yeah, little Marco. That was it. Little Marco.
Yep. And then HUD is Ben Carson.
Ben Carson. Thank you. I have these moments, and I can't think. Names elude me. Sometimes I pull odd names right out of my hat.
Yep.
And other times, names I see and use all the time. I just can't come up with them. Ben Carson and Marco Rubio. You're absolutely right. Thank you for that.
Well, we all have those Biden moments because dementia does no longer exist.
Oh, boy. Yeah. Biden moments. You're right. I like that better. Actually, hopefully our Biden moments are never as bad as Biden's Biden moments.
Oh, it's going to be a slog for the next 4 years.
Well, you know what? I'm telling you, if he does get it, and I hope he doesn't, but if he does, the jokes are going to write themselves.
Unfortunately, it's going to cost us our country.
Yeah, well, that's the downside.
Yeah.
I try to see the glasses half full, but now you went and through that, and now you got me depressed too.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry.
I
was riding the wave, and it was there. There's just no way that all those hundreds of thousands of citizens, U.S. legal citizens, that did the boat parade, that did the truck parade.
Right.
The Amish don't endorse anybody, and they had a friggin' Amish parade, and then all these peaceful rallies where, guess what? They congregated, they voiced their opinion, and the place was cleaner than it was when they got there.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, you look at a leftist rally, and look at the frickin' cleanup they have to do afterwards.
Oh, I made you say frickin'.
You did. Yeah, you did. And it's true.
That's the main word.
It is. It frickin' is. Maybe it is.
It is.
Frickin' is
I've
right.
been on this country since the 70s, and that is friggin' is a main word.
Friggin' is a main word.
It is only.
Friggin' A. I hear more people using it now on, another say, friggin' A. You like that? Yeah. Ava. You remember that one?
Oh, yeah.
Ava.
That's a Jewish one.
Is that really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Well, that makes sense, but
Jewish.
Ava. I remember the most common phrase of my childhood when I was with my brother and sister was, Ava, I'm going to tell mama.
Yep. Yeah, that's a Jewish thing.
No kidding. Well, that's good to know. There was a song called Ava. I can't remember.
No, that's different.
No, it was the same thing. And it was a main band. I think it was the Boneheads.
That I believe you are correct.
Yeah.
I'll have to defer to your disc jockey expertise.
Let me see. I'm going to see if I can find it on YouTube. Play a little bit of it.
Ava that we said as kids.
Yeah, Ava.
That's a Jewish thing. And did you say Ava or Abba?
Ava. Ava.
Yeah, okay. Well, anyway, the thing that we used to say to each other when we were kids, because we're both childs of late 60s and 70s.
Yes. Yeah.
It was Ava, and that was just what we did.
Wow. So Oh, Elton John's. I think Elton John's. You speak of the 60s and 70s. I was just trying to think. There are some birthdays I missed today, and you just reminded me, Mikkel. Let me see if I can find if it's Elton. Is it Elton John's birthday, or is it just? Oh no. Wait a minute here. I think today's. Oh, I don't know. I can't find it now.
Anyway,
he
get the flag with the blue star.
Okay, yeah, the original
and the green white pine on the yellow field. That is the official first American flag.
Okay.
I'm
first
sorry,
first Maine flag.
First American,
right.
First Maine flag.
And they want to go back to it. They've talked about going back to it.
Well, yeah, but that's not going to happen now.
No, it's not.
And the other one is the blue star with the green white pine.
Oh, that's the one I thought.
On a white corner with a red banner, and that was the flag for conflict in the Civil War.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll find it. I'll look it up. I'll get
those are online. And like I said, I'm trying to find a non-China manufacturer because I'm going to fly those friggin' A flags.
There you go.
Out in the friggin' A front yard.
There you go. Fly them in the friggin' air. In the Aya. So, Aya. By the way, we're talking about backdrops for the show I'm doing tomorrow with Doc Green on the Right America Network. We're going to be doing that, and I'll have the video on, and I'm going to need the back. So I'll find those backdrops and use them. Got to run, Mikkel, but thank you very much, buddy.
One thing, just make sure you post the correct web address for that connection, please.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I will. For the connection to a Right America Media?
Yep.
Okay, rightamericamedia.com.
God bless you.
God bless you, sir. You have a great day. Bye, Mikkel. 1150 right here on Legacy 1160 WSK. There's something about Elton John today. I did read he is packing on the pounds. I've heard Elton John is packing on the pounds. In fact, he's got a new song out called The Bitch Is Fat. Sorry. These things come to me. I have to say them. I apologize. I don't mean to offend anybody. This is interesting. Remains of a man and his slave killed in, they believe, 79 A.D. during the eruption of Mount Vesuvius has been unearthed. A man and his slave from 79 A.D. Their identities are being withheld pending notification of next of kin. I have to say that. It's the law. I have to say that. We've got a 1151 here on Legacy 1160 WSKW. And see, what else can we cover? We've got time. We can cover more here. What do we want to cover? I mean, this is disturbing. All this stuff about the BLM founder. This is disturbing. This Breathe Act. This is a Marxist revolution in and of itself. In one law, in one fell swoop, doing away with prisons, doing away with police, reparations, and on and on and on. And they're going to force it on Biden. And Harris will be there to help. Harris will say, they'll go to Kamala Harris, and they'll say, Kamala, we need you to get the Breathe Act through. And she'll say, yeah, okay, I'll talk to him. I'll see what I can do. I think we get somewhere. Her nasally twang. Yeah, my wife hears her and she has to cover her ears. She cannot stand Kamala Harris's voice. It's like, was it Mary Hart that used to give people epileptic fits when they heard Mary Hart's voice on, what was it, Entertainment Tonight or something? And that's the way it is with Mary Hart, my wife. She hears her voice and she just... like nails on a chalkboard. 1152 right now. Biden is picking scandalous people. There's some good news. Of course he is. Of course he is. That's what he does. He chooses scandalous people because those are his people. Those are the people he knows and loves. And those are the people he is going to bring into his administration. In fact, hold on a second here. We just heard a piece on Fox News that was very good by Steve Hilton. And he was talking about this Steve Ricchetti, who is about as corrupt as they come, by the way, and just changes to do whatever job he can do, or he can muddle his way through while making all kinds of money and having the people in the corrupt administration look the other way. He did it during the Obama administration. He will now get to do it during the Biden administration if Biden winds up being president. Joe Biden has also, according to Just the News, reached deep into the Obama administration alumni for others. And in doing so, he has threatened to resurrect old scandals like Hillary Clinton's email debacle and Hunter Biden's influence controversy. Listen, yesterday, he announced he wanted as his national security advisor former State Department official Jake Sullivan. Who is Jake Sullivan? Well, at 43 years old, he'd be the youngest in history to be the national security advisor. He also chose longtime Senate and White House aide Antony Blinken as his Secretary of State. Now, their past ties to Obama-era scandals, of which Biden says there were none, and Obama says there were none. There most certainly were, and these two are tied to them. Sullivan was a key figure in the probe of Clinton's mishandling of classified information on a private email server, while Blinken had contacts with Hunter Biden and his Burisma-holding colleagues in the Ukraine during the whole impeachment trial. So, hello! Everything old is new again. Emails recovered from Clinton's private email server shows Sullivan was among the senior state officials to regularly correspond with Secretary of State Clinton using insecure communications, including sending her information that was eventually deemed to be classified at the top secret level. Who else? Lurch. I was hoping I would never have to see this guy again. Remember the guy who, I didn't Vietnam, I threw my medals away. Former Vice President Joe Biden chose former Secretary of State John Lurch Kerry to be, this is so funny. This is so funny, so virtuous. John Forbes Kerry is going to be the climate envoy. Biden's administration team pledged to elevate the position to the National Security Council. Climate activists and progressives couldn't be happier. AOC Bernie Sanders, oh, love that. Kerry will be Biden's special presidential envoy for climate, guiding the federal government's climate policies. The Biden campaign introduced a $2 trillion climate plan that called for reaching net zero carbon emissions by 2050. Faster if they can. Kerry's going to be responsible for coordinating multiple federal agencies to implement policies to achieve this goal. His role will not require confirmation by the U.S. Senate. This marks the first time that the NSC will include an official dedicated to climate change. Kerry tweeted, America will soon have a government that treats the climate crisis as the urgent national security threat it is. I'm proud to partner with the president-elect and our allies and the young leaders of the climate movement to take on this crisis as the president's climate envoy. I'm John Forbes Kerry, a loser in presidential races, but a winner when it comes to saving the planet Earth. It's a religion to him. Pastor Kerry. Worship at the altar of the Right Reverend John Forbes Kerry. For now, the earth will be safe from the evil sun and the effect of man-made carbon emissions. Lie, lie, freaking lie. All for power. I know what I'm talking about. No, you're a conspiracy theorist. Well, I've got a radio show, and you don't even call to get your 2 cents in. So, yeah, joke's on you. I'll see you tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. Mike Violet here bright and early at 6. Have a great afternoon. I'm John James.
AM 1160, WSKW.
Hi, this is Jeff from K-Tronics, your local Wilson Electronics, WeBoost, and Dish TV product experts for over 23 years. From cell phone signal boosters for your camp, home, work, or vehicle, to Dish TV starting at only $59.99 per month for over 120 channels, including local channels. Now introducing smart home products to keep you connected and informed no matter where you are. Call 207-696-3200 or come see us at 57 Main Street, Madison.
Being able to spend time with those we love, sharing our stories and memories, is one of the many things to be thankful for this year. But as we visit safely with family and friends this Thanksgiving,